Hello everybody, Daz here. Happy to see all of you on the other side of the screen. Thank you for joining me on my quest of testing GPU blocks on 4090. Today we're moving to our next contender, which is a Heatkiller version of GPU block. This particular unit has a personal interest for me. I'm considering to use it for myself. I'm currently having a Heatkiller block on my 3080, which I'm very happy with. So we'll see how it performs, but possibly I will keep it. That's why it's at the end of the test. So this unit is a silver version, which is a little bit tricky to film because it's basically very mirror finish. It's also like to leave a little bit of fingerprints everywhere. So, but we'll do our best. Hopefully not too much flares into the lenses from this one. So there's a couple things I would like to address about. Let's turn it. About the packaging, things like this. Watercool for a while has a pretty lousy white boxes from not very good carton, and right now they ship most of the products is very tightly made boxes with intricate internal design, with a compartment for different parts, so it's very tight. And little known fact that they actually a couple years ago they bought their own machinery and they develop boxes in-house, and they can make custom boxes for any accessories they sell, which is pretty cool. So it's also it's a brown box with minimalistic design. I think it's actually really nice, and from not the best packaging they actually move for one of the best packaging in the industry, which I personally really like. So what we get in the box, not much. We have RGB cable for those who are interested in such things. We have two sets of thermal pads, one for backplate and one for the PCB itself. Interesting enough, it's pure speculation on my side, but I noticed that some of the pads is like lavender color, and some of the pads, the ones that goes onto memory chips, they actually gray. From my experience dealing with a variety of manufacturers for the thermal pads, I know that usually lower grade or lower conductivity thermal pads typically have some color added to differentiate them from other models, but as soon as you're moving to high-end high performance thermal pads, they never have any colors, always gray. I think that probably some painting or whatever, the pigment which added to the thermal pads, they kind of lower or interfere with the thermal transfer. So I speculating that it seems that for the regulators and other stuff, they have one lesser conductivity thermal pads, while for the memory they have a higher conductivity thermal pads. Manual provide no clue, traditional for many other manufacturers, so we don't know exact numbers, but we use what they provide because we're testing all blocks as is, and potentially when I finally choose my own block, I will be using Fuji Poly high performance pads that I always do. A little bit of thermal paste. We know that not always you get one, and funny enough, the only screws you provided, except the ones already installed, there's only 4 screws and washers for the main chip area, so that's all we get, not much. So procedure actually very similar to what we saw many times before. Basically we need to remove those 6 or 7 screws right there to remove the side panel or side plate, I don't know how to call it, and also this black back plate. So we can separate 2 of those, which we will do, and I'll come back in a second with the result for you. All done. Let's see how it works. Okay, side panel. Interesting enough, there are no cutout in the middle, so for the switch, BIOS switch that we have on a GPU block, where it is? Oh right, on the other side. So this BIOS switch will be covered by this plate, so in case you need to change anything, that you will have to remove that back plate. I don't know, is it like a reasonable scenario or not, but that's something you keep in mind. And there's a backplate. This is probably the thickest backplate I've seen so far, much thicker comparing with Alpha Cool and everybody else. It's like old style, I don't know, probably 3 millimeters at least thickness. I'm just curious. This thing is ridiculous. Yeah, it's like it's 3 millimeters thick, very heavy. Actually, I forgot to mention it, but this is second most heaviest block in all lineup, and it's 1.9 kilograms, while the only block that heavier than that we tested, it's active backplate set from EK, which was 2.3 kilograms. So if we speak about passive backplate type of the model, this is basically probably the most heaviest backplate, oh sorry, block we ever seen. So it's serious weight on PCI slot and everything. So interesting enough, look, there's something here separate in the middle, the cooling plate for the main chip, kind of separate, which is I never seen before. So it looks like it's a little bit designed like CPU block, like a separate milled fins. You can barely see through the thing, but yeah. Oh, it's huge. I see fins here and there, so it's like it's really big. So this is interesting. Never saw this before. So what next needs to be done is after removing two washers, we need to apply all those thermal pads and thermal paste on the PCB itself. This will be tedious work, probably will take me a good 15 minutes to apply it all in place according to the provided manual. Unfortunately, I couldn't print it out because they have error in the PDF file, which they have 10 pages crammed in one page. You can zoom, but if you print, you have all 10 pages on one page. So it's a little bit make difficult for me to print a paper version of the manual and show you. So anyways, we have a map and we're going to install that. I will be back when I finish this job. It is indeed took me about 15 minutes to peel all protective film and put thermal pads in place. One thing that I would like to mention, first of all, you can see that what I mentioned before is those pads on the memory chips are definitely higher grade. From my experience, higher grade pads usually less elastic and more easily to crumble, which you can see I even damaged a little bit corner here. Second is they really cut pads to exact size, and which make installation a little bit difficult. I see actually miss here a little bit. So you wouldn't hurt to give you 0.5 millimeter on both sides, so you can kind of a little bit miss the areas that you're placing those pads, but this is exactly as big as the chip you're covering, and that was a little bit extra effort to make sure you place it in correct, because the thermal pad is sticky, so you put it in the wrong place and it's not like you can move it sideways, so you need to peel it back and put it in place. So it was a little bit extra effort to put this stuff. Hopefully it will pay off later. Also keep saying this in every video, but guys, don't forget to purify all the surfaces you're going to apply thermal material, because the contact area between your PCB and a thermal pad or thermal paste, that's the area of thermal resistance. So if you have any sort of dirt which acts as insulator, you lose a little bit of performance, so it's recommended to clean it up. Okay, so I'll fix this part because it's a little bit incorrect as I see it now. Put thermal paste in place, and we're going to proceed with the step of installing the block itself. Everything's sparkling clean, and the final step is installation of the PCB in place. So we need to align all the holes. Okay. I'm trying not to put my head in a cam, but it's also make it difficult to see correct holes. Oh, I see. I always put block a little bit on the box underlying under, and this part is always latching. So okay. Damn. Those gray posts for screws so badly visible, it's really hard. Okay. I think I got it mostly. Oh, nice. Okay. Traditional little wiggle to settle everything correctly. I see I forgot to clean this set of voltage regulators, which I need to do. According to manual, you need to put 4 washers right there. They have actually the metal washers, and you put a down insulator to the PCB and metal up. So which I will do. Okay, additional cleaning done, and the washer, you can see it's black, so black side down. And we need to put all the screws in place, traditionally tightening in a cross manner, a little bit by a little bit, so the card sits on the block slowly and evenly. It's hard to say how tight you need to do it. There's no end. Well, try not to go too crazy. So you kind of, when my hand starts slipping without holding it too hard on a screwdriver, I can see that it's good enough. Always works for me. Okay. So next step will be putting thermal pads on a backplate, I believe. Let me double check that. According to the manual, yes. It looks like we need to put it on backplate, so let's do that. Well, glue is absolutely crazy on those ones. If you misplace them, hard to peel off, but overall peeling of protecting film not so bad. So a little bit hard to apply them due to exact cut to size, but not the terrible experience, I would say. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's like this. Better align those holes correctly. Yeah, those guides a little bit help actually. Okay, so look in the manual, we put everything together and puts all the screws back in place. Traditionally I will go like on the sides, try to do some sort of cross pattern in a way, and after that only side bracket will remain. And voila, magic is done. Overall installation experience pretty positive. Wasn't too hard to install except the thermal parts part. So this is basically how everything looks. Slightly different design with the ports located in end of the card instead of traditionally above. One thing that I would like to note is that this block doesn't provide you with a custom bracket. You use the bracket that comes with your GPU originally. The bracket is not attached to this block, and being one of the heaviest blocks on the market, I would think that you might want to think about GPU support bracket of sorts to make sure it's safe. It's maybe not as critical, for example, in my particular case, because I have a horizontal motherboard in my case labs case that I'm going to use. But if you use traditional case, you may want to have a bracket just in case. So otherwise it's a lot of weight on a PCB. And you may want to keep microfiber handy if you have a silver version like myself, because it just easily stained with your fingers to trigger people. Anyways, thank you for watching. We put this one on test, having high hopes for it, and we'll come with results in a different video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.